going on, everybody? I'm Guns for Hire, and today I want to talk about Call of Duty, the next one for 2014, Flappy Bird, and what I'm playing, what games I'm looking forward to as well. So let's get into the very first one. I want to talk about Flappy Bird first. For those of you who don't know, this was just like a very simple game that went like almost instantly viral on mobile devices, whether it was Android or the Apple software, you know, your Apple iPhones, iPad, all that stuff. Very, very simple game. You've seen it all over. I'm not going to explain it to you. If you want to look it up, just Google Flappy Bird, you'll see it. The game has been taken down by the owner. And this is what I want to talk about, because to me, I don't get it. I don't understand what the issue is. This guy and what he's complaining about kind of blows my mind a little bit here. He took it down. So he took it down and he said, you know, it's been stressing, I can't sleep at night. Allegedly. So he's not confirming the actual numbers, but with, 50 million people who downloaded the game and were playing it, and it was just going crazy. 50 million users, and there's ads generated on it. He was allegedly making close to or over $50,000 US per day. Per day! Now, he said he took it down. He threatened to take it down. We were like, oh, why would he take it down? It's making so much money. He took it down, and he basically said, I've been losing sleep. It's causing me stress. And he goes on, and this is what really irked me. And I was like, dude, what planet are you on? He said that he was shocked because the game was becoming very addictive. It was very addictive. It's a video game. What do you expect? That's what video games are. Anything in life can be very addictive. But that's why we play them. We play them because, you know what, it takes our mind off. It has something like Tetris or Pac-Man, something that's very, very simple, you know, Flappy Bird, Angry Birds. It's a mind-numbing thing that we can play. We can just hop on there and do something. Whether you hated it or loved it, that's not the point. It's irrelevant. The fact is that this guy shut it down after, you know, independent developers would kill for the opportunity for one of their games to take off like that, to instantly take off, and to just sort of go, oh, you know what, people are finding it addictive. I think some people are addicted to it. I'm gonna shut it down. What is wrong with you people? Like, I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. Does that make sense to you? Does that something that you would do? You'd be like, oh, dude, I had no idea people would get addicted to my game. I'm making so much money from it. You know, not out of their pocket. It was a free to download thing, so it's not costing the users anything. You know, the users shouldn't care. Again, I read comments about people like, I hated that game, good riddance. Well, if you didn't like it, what do you care anyway? What do you care if it's gone? You're not gonna play it. You don't like something, don't play it. You don't like a video, don't watch it. It's very, very simple solutions here, people. So anyway, that's Flappy Bird. That thing blew my mind. It was like he broke silence and he talked about it. I think it would have been better if he didn't. If he just didn't tell us why. It would have been better if it was some sort of legal battle. You know, people were like, oh, was it a legal battle because he used the green tubes that looked very similar to Mario in Nintendo? Like it was a pending lawsuit or something. He said no, that had nothing to do with it, that there wasn't any lawsuit. It's just I couldn't sleep, I was stressed, it was going the wrong way. Wow, I've got to say, I think that guy, and I'm going to be, maybe this is harsh, I got to be honest with you, I think he's an idiot. Let's just end it with that. Flappy Bird designer is an idiot. Yes, let's move on. Call of Duty. Not shocking, the new Call of Duty coming out this year, 2014, but there's a couple of things that are interesting on the horizon here. Now, the one in 2014, which normally would have been Treyarch Studios, because it usually goes Infinity Ward, Treyarch, back and forth, flop, flop, flip, flip. I think since Call of Duty 2, so it went Call of Duty 1, 2, both Infinity Ward, and then 3 was Treyarch, and then 4 was Infinity, and then it kept on going back and forth like that, and that's how we've known it. But now, 2014, this year's Call of Duty, which, by the way, is primarily going to be made for next-gen systems and then ported to the current gen, which is, you know, your 360, I don't know about the Wii, I have no idea. They don't usually talk about it because it's not really a console that focuses on games like that. It never has been. And PS3, but it's going to be primarily made for the next-gen systems. And I'm saying this right now, not to be vindictive or stir anything up, this is just the way it is. I'm guessing that it's going to be primarily made for the Xbox One, because Microsoft has a relationship. They have a relationship. They support the Call of Duty community. You know, I'm not spitting on Microsoft at all. They've embraced the community, whereas PlayStation, you don't normally see them siding. I don't know if they've tried to make deals or, you know, get together with Activision and say, hey, you know what, we want to throw this tournament, we want to sponsor this year's. I don't know if it is. Microsoft has been there good from the start, and maybe after all this time, even if Sony was to say, hey, Activision, we'd like to get on, they're like, you know what, why didn't you do this before? Why didn't you do it before you saw Microsoft get the upper hand, and now you want to help? No, I don't think so. And I wouldn't blame them personally either. I have a PlayStation 4 right now. Soon, and probably in the next week or two, I'll probably be going out and getting an Xbox One. And I don't want to go into that. I'll just say that I'm not overly happy. I'm a PlayStation fanboy, if you want to put it there or call it that. But I'm not overly happy right now. I mean, it's so early in this next-gen system, so who knows, things are going to change. If we get another Uncharted or something like that, maybe I'm like, whoa, that's incredible, I love it. So Sledgehammer Games is going to be making the next Call of Duty for 2014, which is okay. I don't really care. At this point here, you know, and again, don't take this as me bashing it, because I play Call of Duty every single day. I don't necessarily post it, but I play it. I love it. It's the game that I go to relax. I know, it's strange. Most of you would be like, and I've got a hole in my wall. Not always relaxing, but that's what I play. So they're going to be in the mix now, which means... And they stated it's on a 3-year cycle. People complain about the fact that Call of Duty doesn't seem to progress, which I would argue that they're absolutely wrong. The problem is that because we see one every year, maybe people don't necessarily notice the increments and the improvements in this. I think because it's out every single year, it's like, well, the previous year was this, and it's slightly peaked. But if you looked at Call of Duty Ghosts, like I'm talking about the movement, performance, the graphics, everything to do with it, the layering, shading, all of that sort of stuff there, and compare it to go back to, say, Call of Duty 4, which, by the way, is one of my favorites, so don't think I'm bashing on that. As a matter of fact, I would love it. If they updated Call of Duty 4 and repackaged it, I would be the first one in line to buy it. I absolutely love it. But there's no mistaking the difference and the improvements that they've done. If you just look from Call of Duty 4 right to Ghost, it's a huge difference. The quality in it is monstrous. And I'm not talking about the gameplay, whether you agree with the attachments or the kill streaks or any of that stuff. I'm talking about the performance of the game and how it looks and how it feels and how smooth it is. Great, great difference. But as things have been going on, like from World at War, and then Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2, and now here, maybe from year to year, it's a little bit harder to notice those improvements, but it absolutely has improved. So I don't see that it's going to change. And even though it's a 3-year cycle, the developers, so Treyarch's probably not going to be going out until 2015, I would assume. Since we just saw Infinity Ward, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe because they have that extra time, even though we're going to see a new one every year, technically, Treyarch has 3 years instead of just, well, it was 2 years, so it's not that much more, but that extra year could be the world of difference in terms of improvements. And I think, personally, I think that they're doing this, they're putting Sledgehammer in there because they have enough experience, they've already seen it. Let's face it, the engine is already ready there. It's kind of cookie cutter, they, you know, make their own story. Maybe they'll make improvements and tweak it. I'm not saying that they're an inept developer by any means, you know, other than we know that it's Infinity Ward and Treyarch that always makes the games there. But I mean, everything is in place for Sledgehammer. I don't think that it's going to be like horrible, like, oh, this is the worst one in the entire world. I think, though, that they're giving Treyarch a little bit more leeway. They're saying, you know what, make the next one. We're going to give you on the 2015. Knock this one out of the park. Make it next gen. Blow people's mind. Again, don't be surprised, though, if you don't see a huge difference from the Sledgehammer game one, which is coming out this year, and then the Treyarch one, which will likely come out in 2015, because the improvements, there's going to be improvements in this one. If they're making it primarily for next gen, it's going to look that much better. It's going to perform that much better, which is a good thing, because I'll tell you right now, it's shady at best on the PlayStation 4. It looks amazing, like especially if you play the campaign mode, but when you're getting in multiplayer, you'll see a lot of frame rate stutter. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about before I end this one, I know I'm rambling on. This is what I do. I love talking, and I like talking to you about it. It gets me all excited. If you don't like Call of Duty, you probably already stopped the video right now. It doesn't really matter. But what I liked reading, and there's another article, and if I find it, I will list it below, but they were talking about adding a field of view option for the PC. Now, I don't know how many of you actually have ever played on PC. Typically, if you're playing on console game, a lot of the console games do not offer the ability to adjust your field of view, which basically means how wide you can see. It's your peripheral vision. When you play Call of Duty, and a lot of times I complain about this as well, there's a give and take in it though. Such a tunnel vision in Call of Duty, it's very hard to see on the side, and a lot of times you might get killed from someone, whereas if you play on PC, you can increase how wide you can see on either side. It really does help for spotting people. If you've got a good headset, you can hear them, but you can spot them without having to actually look over there. Whereas Call of Duty, you really have to sort of move because it's such a tunnel vision. The trade-off in field of view is that it seems that your target or whatever's right in front of you, it will be farther away. It'll make it less accurate for you. So for someone in Call of Duty, as you're playing it right now on consoles, the person will be relatively close to you, making it easy for you to hit that target. If you vastly increase the field of view, it's going to make that target seem a little bit farther away, making that same shot. If that person is, you know, if you're going 1v1 on that person and they're using a normal, you know, current generation or console rather field of view, and you've got this wide, if you both have the sort of the same skill set generally, that person there has an advantage because it's a lot easier to get on the mark, especially when that person seems or appears like zoomed in on. Because, I mean, again, you can't zoom in on someone and cut that out. I mean, that's why the field of view is like that. But a lot of people, and I know Meatwagon likes this as well, he likes the field of view a little bit wider. I do like that, but I'll be honest with you, my accuracy is horrible. So perhaps increasing the field of view is not what I need on a console. And I'm so used to it, you know, whatever. But I think it's a good option. I think the next-gen consoles should provide the ability to increase the field of view. Now, a lot of times what happens is this, people are like, oh, you can't do this because it hinders performance. It taps in, and with a console, you know, you have limitations, whereas on a PC, you can adjust it because some people have powerful PCs, some people don't, and so they give that leeway to them. But in consoles, it's like, here's what the graphics card is, here's what the processor is, here's what the RAM is. You have, you know, set parameters. You know, everyone has the same set parameters. And they know that if they try and sort of squeeze out too much performance from a particular game, that something else is going to suffer, whether it's the frame rate or whatever the case may be. Again, field of view doesn't actually use that much more computational power in terms, or processing power rather, from the CPU or the GPU. So I don't know why they haven't really added it in there. And maybe it does decrease the frame rate. Maybe, you know, the 60 frames per second that Call of Duty says is always on the consoles, maybe it goes down to 40 or something like that. But if the gamer doesn't mind, then why should you? I mean, if it allows them to improve and enjoy it that much more, then why not? And there's, like I said, there's that give and take. Field of view doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to have the advantage. They have the advantage from the side, but again, a disadvantage from the accuracy and the zooming in of the actual target. Anyway, that's it. Whew, it felt good to talk about it. You know, I'm hoping, and I'm not saying anything at all because whenever there's news stories, I'll talk about it, and if there isn't, then whatever, but it did feel good to talk about games today, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember, if you haven't done so already, do subscribe. We're going to be playing Rust tonight on our server, so by all means, follow Meatwagon and myself on Twitter. Let us know that you want to be whitelisted. Put your name down there. We'll add you. We're having a lot of fun, possibly with factions. We've got some other ideas for it, and hopefully, with you guys there, it'll make it really successful. And the last thing I'm going to finish off is 2 games I'm looking forward to, and I want to know what you're looking forward to next. 2 games, and I don't have the system for either, which means I have to go out and get the Xbox One, is Titanfall and Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. 2 games I'm really looking forward to, and hopefully we will be bringing here to YouAlwaysWin, and depending, I don't know if we're going to be able to do both all the time. That's going to depend on you guys and how much the subscribers, the main core of the subscribers, watch. If a lot of you watch one over the other, then maybe we'll focus on that. We also have limited time in which we can record the stuff, so we want to make sure that we focus on something that majority of our active subscribers watch. That's usually how we determine it. Anyway, hope you guys have a great day, and I'm looking forward to some of you playing on Rust. Don't kill me. No hot cheat, okay? No hot shit. Later, guys.